This video is brought to you by AztecaSoccer.com, your one-stop shop for all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Be sure to use coupon code SR4U at checkout to receive 10% off any order of $100 or more.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas X15.1 in the latest black, yellow, and night metallic colorway. Now inside the box, they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is black in color with neon yellow strings. You're going to find a paint splatter graphic in orange and neon yellow on the front, your X branding in white, as well as your Adidas football branding in white, and then on the back of the bag, it's left completely blank. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at this very good looking colorway of the Adidas X15.1. I know a lot of people didn't like the launch color. These, in my opinion, look a lot better, obviously a lot more subtle, mostly black in color, but with some interesting design elements that I don't think a lot of people realize just yet that I will be pointing out in today's video. So if you're interested in learning more about the new X15.1, we're going to be taking a closer look at the aesthetics. I'm going to be talking performance. We're also going to take a closer look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So again, if you want to learn more, please stick around, watch the entire video. And if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. So what's on offer when it comes to performance with the X15.1? I've been wearing this shoe for the last couple of weeks, and I have to say I've been very impressed with it from the get-go. It feels great on feet, it's comfortable from right out of the box, really requires no break-in time. The upper is thin, soft, flexible, feels great when making touches on the ball. The upper is responsive, it holds your foot in place really nicely. The stud pattern works really well on firm natural grass, although I do have some comments on it in terms of its performance on artificial grass, which we'll get to in just a second. And really, if I had one complaint about this shoe, it would have to do with heel slippage, and that has to do with the material. Again, something we'll talk about in just a second. So with the upper, this is a synthetic variation. It has their X-Skin synthetic upper, which is kind of a variation of hybrid touch that we saw on the 2015 and 2014 F50 Adi Zeros, although I would say this is a little bit thinner and a little bit softer and more flexible overall. It does have a padded liner on the underside, mainly in the forefoot, and what I like about this synthetic material is it's thin, so you're going to get that nice uniform kind of barefoot feel on the ball, minimal extra padding, although like I said, it does have somewhat of a padded liner. But what's best about it is it feels comfortable. It's got that tight fit, which you want from any thin synthetic shoe, but it doesn't feel like it's squeezing your foot. It's got this soft quality to it that, like I said, just makes these shoes feel very, very comfortable from the get-go. There's no break-in process. The synthetic is soft and pliable from right out of the box. And like I said, they just feel great. So if you're looking for a nice barefoot feel, that's exactly what you get here from the X-Skin upper on the X15.1. With that being said, because the upper is thin and flexible, it has to be reinforced, which is what they've done here on both the lateral and medial side of the midfoot, as well as bordering the edge of the forefoot and toe box area in the form of their X-Cage system. That's what this interesting design is here. And essentially it's just extra layers of material fused on top of the X-Skin upper to act as extra reinforcement. It doesn't seem too significant just visually on the shoe, but when you put them on your feet, it's very noticeable that the midfoot area is more structurally sound. You're not going to get any stretch or any flex in the upper whatsoever through the midfoot, which makes for a very responsive sensation. Your foot's not sliding around, which is really, really important in terms of having that nice locked in feel. And like I said, the shoe kind of reacting the second that you do. So you get that nice responsive feel from the X15.1. The laces run down the middle of the shoe, which allows you to get them nice and tight, and you have to get them nice and tight in order to avoid heel slippage. And some of that heel slippage has to do with this Tech Fit collar, which is what they've incorporated here in the heel and top area of the shoe. Now, it's not a mid-cut shoe like what you're going to find from the Superfly 4, the Magista Obra, or the Hypervenom Phantom 2 from Nike. It just has this Tech Fit collar. You can see the Tech Fit branding right there. That's it's more of a kind of elasticated neoprene type of material that runs the top edge of the collar. It reminds me a little bit of what you're going to find on the Mercurial X Finale. It also has the same material here in the heel liner with a good amount of padding. And I'm going to give you guys a closer look at what exactly the system is, because it's not that significant. It's there mainly just to kind of cover the opening of the ankle area. So you can see you have this top enclosure piece that covers kind of the first two lace holes here across the top of the foot. So it is a little bit trickier to get these on. There's a little bit of kind of holding this in place and sliding your foot inside with a little bit of force because it can't actually open up all the way. This kind of circle piece does have some stretch to it, but it doesn't open up or expand all that much. Once your foot is inside, you get that nice kind of locked in secure sensation. All of this wraps your foot and heel area really nicely. There's no extra gaps or anything like that. But this doesn't continue throughout the entire foot like a lot of people think it does. It does have a synthetic suede liner on the inside, and the tongue is attached right here on this stitch kind of on the underside. It's attached to the Tech Fit collar, so the tongue's not going to move around or slide around on you either, which is really, really nice, and you get that nice consistent feel across the top as well. But it's an interesting type of sensation. It fits really nicely, and I found that there is some heel slippage due to this material being a little bit more slick against your socks. If you wear a product like True Socks or something like that, it's definitely not something that becomes an issue at all. And you can, for the most part, avoid the issue without True Socks, given that you have the right size, so there's not a lot of extra space in the shoe at all, and you tie them nice and tight at the very top lace hole. If you do that, heel slippage is going to be very, very minor and not much of an issue at all. I didn't have any issues with blister or anything like that. I just found that I could feel my heels slipping from time to time, which was a bit of annoying, but not necessarily a deal breaker with this particular shoe. The last thing to talk about with the upper is the actual finish. It's mostly smooth, but you're gonna find what they call their non-stop grip dots across the surface of the upper, which you can very clearly see. It doesn't happen, it's not here on the parts of the X cage, but it is here on all the parts where you have this kind of carbon fiber looking finish, which isn't actually carbon fiber, by the way. And essentially what these little dots do is they provide a little bit of extra grip on the ball. They're slightly rubberized, that's kind of how I would describe them. And they really do provide a little bit of extra grip on the ball. Definitely more noticeable when it's dry, not so much when it's wet. It's kind of Adidas's take on ACC, if you will. And in wet playing conditions, I found that the grip on the ball in this shoe was above average for thin synthetic models, which can generally be a little bit slick. So overall, it does get the job done, but it doesn't have a huge impact on the overall experience of wearing the X15.1. You do have an internal plastic heel counter, which is fairly common for any soccer shoe. And then moving on to the sole plate, this is what they call their exo frame outsole. And it's an exo frame in that you have little cutouts running through the bottom of the sole, which I think would worry a lot of people. It certainly does look very cool. But as I showed you guys in my first video, the inside does have a plastic kind of stud plate base that you might not be able to see because of the lighting, but there is actually a plate underneath plastic as your base, and then of course they cover it up with this material to give it the look, and then of course they put the outsole on top, which is made from a solid plastic. Speaking of the inside of the shoe, just to kind of jump back and forth, here is the insole. It's fully removable. It has this nice synthetic suede finish with a pretty cool pattern printed on top, again designed to look like the finish on the upper, and of course it does have the X15.1 branding. It's pretty much the exact same insole we got with the F50 Adi Zeros and just Adidas shoes in general, just with a different pattern on the bottom, and it's got a decent amount of foam, good thickness to it, and again, step-in comfort is very, very good with the X15.1 in general. Now, the sole plate, made from a TPU plastic material, has some good flex to it, so it's not overly stiff at all. And then moving on to the stud pattern, this is of course part of Adidas's new lineup, where all the shoes are firm ground / AG stud patterns, meaning that you can use this on both natural grass as well as artificial grass. With that being said, this isn't really an AG stud pattern at all. If you look at what Nike has on offer with their AG stud pattern, even what Adidas has offered with their AG stud patterns in the past, they're a lot different than this. This is essentially the 2014 F50 Adi Zero stud pattern with some different studs running through the middle and these two little studs at the tip. Other than that, this is still very much a firm ground stud pattern that Adidas is saying you can use on artificial grass, which is fine, and you can definitely do that. I wouldn't recommend against it because obviously Adidas has done the testing and claimed that you can wear this on AG fields. With that being said, I'd say that the studs are still a little bit long for artificial grass, and it still does have that little bit of cling that in my opinion, feels unsafe on artificial grass and something you won't get with something like an AG stud pattern from Nike or even an older AG stud pattern from Adidas. So the grip is great on both natural grass and artificial grass, but I would say on AG feels in general, it feels a little bit clingy, which worries me a bit, but again, you can kind of take your chances, and if you are playing on both artificial grass and natural grass all the time, and you want a pair of shoes that you can wear on both of those playing surfaces, is supposedly going to last on those playing surfaces, and is warranted for both of those playing surfaces, then any of the new Adidas models, I suppose, are definitely good options. I will say as well that the Messi 15.1, again, kind of has what's more of an FG stud pattern being marketed as an FG AG stud pattern, whereas the Ace model legitimately does have a stud pattern that can be used and feels right on both natural as well as artificial grass. So that's something I thought I would point out in this video, because I have been getting some questions about it, because people are asking, this actually looks like a firm ground stud pattern. How is it actually AG? The answer to that question is it really isn't an AG stud pattern at all. Adidas is just saying that you can use it on artificial grass. So that's pretty much it as far as tech specs and performance features go. Really good shoe, really happy with them. Other than the minor issue with heel slippage, I don't have too much to complain about, other than, again, maybe the fact that this really isn't an AG stud pattern, even though Adidas is telling you you can use it on artificial grass. But other than that, that's pretty much what I have to say. And with that being said, let's move on to the weigh-in portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, the X15.1 is what I would consider to be reasonably lightweight, but certainly not something that's going to blow you away. So we're going to see exactly what they weigh in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. I'm going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.8 ounces, the equivalent of 222 grams. So they're certainly not heavy on your feet, but they don't feel ultra lightweight either. It's certainly not in the same weight range as the 2014 F50s, or even the 2015 F50 is still a little bit lighter than these, both in hand as well as on feet. But what I like about the X15.1 is you get that thin barefoot feel for the ball, but it feels significantly more solid and structurally sound in comparison to any of the past F50 Adizero models. So if you value more structure and kind of a more responsive sensation as opposed to being as light as possible, then you won't have any issues with the weight of the X15.1. Next, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, off the bat, when this shoe was first unveiled, people were really negative in regards to the overall design. And I think that had a lot to do with the launch colorway being neon yellow and black and really showing off this interesting pattern running through the lateral and medial side of the midfoot. It doesn't have the traditional Adidas boot look. The only real Adidas branding you're going to find on the shoe is on the back of the heel, as well as the little piece here on the tongue. Other than that, you're not going to find the traditional 3 stripes through the midfoot. With that being said, I think on this new black colorway, it looks really, really good. There's not much to not like about this particular shoe visually, at least in my opinion. And I guess you guys can leave your opinions down below in the comment section, but I think that this is a really, really good looking shoe in this particular colorway. So you're gonna find a combination of black, yellow, and what they call night metallic. And night metallic is kind of this bordering color here. I would describe it as a semi-metallic gunmetal gray color. It looks really, really cool against the black of the rest of the upper. And it's not a true black either. It has that kind of woven carbon fiber-like look about it. So it's black and kind of like a really dark gray. And it just looks very cool. Now the chaos pattern is particularly unique. The X cage here running through the middle of the shoe. You can find that the base of it is that night metallic color, so it has that slightly shiny gunmetal look to it. And then the top pieces that are more of a true black is actually reflective black material. And I can't really show you guys on camera, but I'll flash an image on screen of what this reflective material looks like. Very, very cool when it is in action. It's the same type of reflective material that you see on running shoes, but black as opposed to the standard kind of silvery color that it normally ends up being. And then of course you do have the yellow paint splatter on top of that as well, which looks really cool. Black and neon yellow, never can go wrong with that combination. Like I mentioned, you do have the neon yellow and the Adidas branding on the heel, as well as the X branding on the tongue to go along with that. And then of course the outsole, really cool. You get that night metallic color for the majority of the sole plate, with some of the studs being a shiny black finish as well, which just looks really, really cool. And then of course you get the black from the upper peeking through all the cutouts in the Exo frame outsole. So that's pretty much it as far as the aesthetics of the shoe are concerned. Again, let me know your thoughts on this particular colorway of the X15.1. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the X15.1's on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of reflective neon yellow SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, check out the website www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they feel great from out of the box. There's really not much of a break-in period with this particular shoe. It's more about just getting used to how they feel in general, which is going to be the case with any new shoe. As far as the synthetic goes, it's soft, it's thin, it's got this nice slightly padded lining material that gives it kind of a cushion sensation against your foot, if that makes any sense, and it just feels really, really good. Again, not much break-in time here whatsoever. The lacing system runs right through the middle of the shoe. It's nice and deep as well, so you're able to get a nice, tight, kind of snug fit across the entire foot. And like I mentioned earlier, the only minor issue that you're going to find with this shoe is that there is some noticeable heel slippage when they're brand new. It's something that once you wear them more and more and get used to tying them a little bit tighter at the top, it's not as much of an issue at all. And if you wear true socks, the issue kind of eliminates itself altogether. But for the most part, like I said, it doesn't make or break the experience. It's just something that you probably will notice when you pick these up. So it's really important that you do get the best possible fit from this particular shoe. You don't want to buy these with a lot of extra space. As far as how that tech fit material feels in the heel, it's a little bit more tricky to get the shoe on. It takes a little bit more effort. You kind of have to push your foot into the shoe as opposed to just slide it into the shoe. But once it's in, I like that it wraps the top portion of your foot. It feels really, really good. Obviously not the most secure, mainly because of the material they used in the heel liner, but nonetheless, I have no complaints whatsoever. It doesn't really add any performance value to the shoe, but I like how comfortable it feels against your foot. It's one of the more comfortable thin synthetic shoes currently out there on the market, in my opinion. As far as the width of the shoe is concerned, it has some decent width to it, but it's not what I would consider to be overly wide either. So if you do have wider feet, probably not the best option for you. And based on my experience with the shoe over the last couple of weeks, they don't really stretch all that much either. So the way they fit from right out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. They'll fit most people, but certainly aren't designed for wider foot types, at least in my opinion. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, if my review of the Adidas X15.1 in the latest black colorway. Expect to see more content on the new X model as well as the rest of the new Adidas line very, very soon on my channel. I'm going to get to writing the full written review very soon as well. It'll be posted on the review page of my website, which will be the very first link down below in the description of this video. If you want to check that page out in the meantime, you're going to find detailed images of this shoe that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to some of the close-up details that you won't see in the online stock photos. And you'll also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these guys up below their normal $220 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding the X15.1, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.